Hey everyone, welcome back to Yoga for First Responders. Great to have you as always, and hope you're having a great day so far. So for today's practice, we're going to focus on strengthening that connection between the two hemispheres of the brain, which we can do not only with breathing exercises, but also just different movements as we move one side of the body at the same time as the other. So that's going to be our focus, because often that connection gets weakened or even lost through stressful times, especially if it's a constant stress or situation that we're faced with. So that's where we're going to go with it. So go ahead and find a comfortable space to find a seat. Feel free to sit with those hips lifted if you have a yoga block or a blanket or a pillow, or even if you're seated at your desk on a chair, maybe just scoot towards the front edge of your seat, so your hips can kind of tilt forward a little bit. That just takes a lot of tension out of that lower back. But then feel free to move around a little bit as you find your space. Just slowly beginning to find a nice long spine, bringing those shoulders above those hips, the ears above those shoulders. And just take this first moment or two to close your eyes, or maybe just look down at the floor if you'd rather keep them open, and just find your breath. Noticing how your breath feels today. Noticing how the breath feels just right now in this moment. More specifically, maybe you breathe through the nose, maybe through the mouth. But we're going to try a little breathing exercise called the alternate nostril breath. Our breath is also associated with the two hemispheres of the brain, also the two different parts of our nervous system. So we're going to just try to balance those two different sides. So we're going to begin with our right hand. We're going to use our thumb and our ring finger. The first and middle finger can just rest towards your palm. Pinky finger is just going to hang out. Doesn't have to do anything. We're going to turn our palm facing in towards our face, bringing your thumb to cover just the front part of the right nostril. So here, just a very light touch. As you breathe in, you're going to breathe in through the left nostril. And then you're going to switch, cover the left nostril with your ring finger and breathe out through the right nostril. Then we're going to breathe in through the right nostril. Switching those hands, and let's breathe out through the left. Breathing in through the left. And switch those fingers out through the right. In through the right. And switch out through the left. In through the left. Switch out through the right. Taking it at your own pace. In through the right. And switch out through the left. Let's go 3 more rounds like that. In through the left. Switch out through the right. In through the right. And switch out through the left. 1 more full complete round. In through the left. Switching out through the right. And in through the right. Out through the left. Continue on as long as you'd like, or you can release that hand back to the leg. Just take a few full breaths in and out through both nostrils. Noticing if you feel any different. If you don't, that's okay too. That, like everything, takes some practice. Typically we do that, for a good solid 5 minutes or so. But sometimes it just helps to clear the mind, helps to bring that sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system in line with one another. So just 1 more full breath in. And a long breath out. Awesome. Okay, we are going to uncross those legs. Let's bring them all the way around so we make our way onto all fours. Bringing those hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. Feel free to untuck those toes so you can feel the tops of your feet on the mat. And as you look down at those fingers, see if you can create a little more space in between each finger there. We're going to move through a few cat and cows. Now, cat and cows, you can do this standing, you can do it seated or on all fours. So find where you feel more comfortable. You'll get a little different extension and flexion on each spot there. But if we stay on those hands and knees, maybe on the next breath in, actively reaching that belly down towards the floor as you turn the gaze up and lifting the tailbone up as well. On the breath out, we're going to gently ground down into those hands like you try to press the floor away from you, rounding through the back as you lift the belly away from the floor. Chin comes closer to the chest. And then we inhale. Lifting the crown of the head, lifting the tailbone, even try to reach the heart forward and the hips back. And exhaling as you round, broadening through those shoulders. And inhaling forward and up. Just moving with your breath. If you'd rather do this seated, you can have hands on the legs. Same thing. We just inhale, lifting the heart, shoulders draw back and down. And exhaling as you round through the spine as the belly draws in. So let's take 3 more full complete breaths here in our cat and cows, whether you are seated or on all fours. Or maybe you find a spot along the way that you want to just pause and hold. And we're just slowly going to make our way back to a neutral spine. Maybe try tucking your toes. And we'll walk those hands back so we come off of the wrists, off of the hands, and let's take a few circles with those hands. And if this doesn't feel great on the feet, you can always untuck those toes. But also good to stretch out those toes a little bit here. So circling those hands, those wrists, both directions. Maybe we shake them out. And then we're going to bring these hands back to the floor. Untucking those toes. Now this time we're going to shift our weight into our left leg, but try to keep that left hip right above the knee. So we're not leaning out to the side. Engaging that core. So really try to bring that belly button a little closer to the spine. And then on the inhale, let's reach our right leg back behind us. So we're going to straighten out that leg, flexing through the foot. So our toes are pointing down towards the floor, the heels reaching away from the body. And then we're going to find a little balance as we reach this left arm forward. Now you can always leave the fingertips on the floor, or you can reach the left hand forward, about bringing that wrist to about shoulder height. So just one more full breath. Actively reach forward through those fingertips as you reach back through the heel. And then on the breath out, slowly lowering everything back to the mat. And just kind of recentering on all fours. And then when you're ready for the other side, shifting your weight over into that right leg. Again, try to keep hip right above that knee. Engaging through that core as you lift that left leg. Toes are pointing down, flexing, engaging through that left thigh, the left glute, and then maybe when you're ready, reaching the right arm forward. Noticing how that puts a little more engagement into the core as you lift that right arm. The thumb's pointing up. One more breath. Actively reaching forward and back, and then exhaling, lowering back down. Recentering, take a moment to find your breath, and then we're going to move with the breath. So each breath in, we're going to lift. So let's lift left arm, right leg, and then each breath out, try to intentionally and slowly lower down rather than just letting it fall. Inhaling as we lift, opposite side, right arm, left leg, exhaling, lower. Inhaling as we extend, stay strong through that core, exhaling, lower. Inhaling, lift. 3 times each side. Again, moving at your own pace. We all breathe a little differently. As you inhale, engaging not only through the leg, but through the arm as well. Trying to keep everything in line with the core, with the shoulder, with the hip. Maybe once more each side. And then go ahead and bring everything back to the floor. And you can sit those hips back towards those heels. Maybe you extend those arms forward and give yourself a moment in child's pose. Again, always an option to just come up and have a seat if that feels more comfortable for you. Finding that breath here as you breathe in to the nose or maybe the mouth, filling the lungs, feeling the ribs expand, and allowing everything to soften as you breathe out. One more full breath in here. As you do so, maybe reaching those fingertips forward a little more. On the breath out, dropping those shoulders down towards the mat. And then we're slowly going to lift the hips, tuck the toes, reaching the hips back as you lift them up to your downward dog. Bending one knee towards the mat as you reach the opposite heel down towards the floor. Alternating those legs, just going side to side. And then as you relax both heels towards the floor, let's turn that gaze forward and we're going to walk our feet towards the front of our mat till you find a nice little forward fold. And then inhale, let's bring our hands to our legs and lift halfway. Extending forward through the crown of the head and then exhaling, forward fold. Let's find a nice deep bend in those knees, grounding down into those big toes and very slowly making your way up to standing. And exhaling, hands to your heart. Okay, with those hands at our heart center, we're gonna just take a little step back with our right foot, just till our right toes come to the floor. And we're gonna reach our left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. The right hand can just relax along the side, or you can even bring it to your hip. But on this inhale, maybe you lift those right toes, reach up a little higher through the left hand, and then on the exhale, we're just gonna bring our hand to our knee as it comes forward. Okay, so we're just gonna inhale and reach back. A little bit of balance going on here, and exhale as we come forward. So when you step back, you can rest the toes on the floor, or for a little more challenge, you can keep the toes lifted. But again, these might seem like simple movements, but just try to make them as intentional and mindful as you can. So as you inhale and extend, we want to engage through this left or the right thigh, the right glute. And as you exhale, notice when your hand connects with the knee. 2 more times on this side. Once more as you breathe in and extend, but this time on the breath out, we're going to pause with the hand on the knee. It's okay if you wobble, it's okay if you fall a little bit, just come back into it. You can even bring the other hand to a wall or a chair nearby. But let's just take a nice deep breath in here, stand up as tall as we can, and then on the breath out, we're slowly going to turn our shoulders, our gaze to the right, finding a standing twist. With this right hand on the hip, just gently pressing that right hip forward. Left hand is on the knee for a little bit of support to help twist a little deeper. And with that gaze, just finding a spot on the floor or the wall, something that doesn't move that you can focus on. 2 more breaths as we hold here. And then maybe on the breath in, unwinding, coming back to center, lowering both feet to the floor, and you can walk out those legs, shake them out, circle out those arms, whatever feels best. Getting ready to try the other side. Okay, let's bring those hands back to our heart center, taking a moment, a pause to check in with the breath, with the body. And then as you feel ready, let's step our left foot to the back, just resting the toes on the floor, but engaging through this left leg, left glute. And then maybe we reach our right arm up. Left hand can just come to the hip or along the side. And let's inhale, reach and extend up through the fingertips, down through the toes. And exhaling as we bring that knee forward, bring a hand to our knee. Just nice and slow as you inhale and extend, reaching that left foot back. Exhaling as it slowly comes forward, using that core to help lift the knee. Inhaling back. Exhaling forward. Moving at your own pace. Again, just try to be mindful of each little movement along the way. Maybe you feel that glute engage as you lift that leg back. Maybe you feel the fingertips connect with the knee as it comes forward. 2 more breaths here. Just finding that intentional movement. Last time as we inhale and extend, and then as we exhale, let's pause in this balance. Bringing our hand to the knee. Feel free to reach out for the wall for some support. Or maybe you breathe in, standing a little bit taller, really ground down into that right foot. And exhaling, finding a little twist as we turn our shoulders and our gaze to the left. Continuing to breathe here. Two more breaths. And then maybe on the next breath in, you slowly unwind, facing forward and bringing that foot back to the floor. Feel free to roll out that standing ankle, shake out those arms, walk out those legs. And then we're gonna make our way back down to our mats, all the way down onto our backs. So finding a seat first, and then feel free to bring those hands behind those legs, and you can lower all the way to your back. Maybe we bring those knees with us in towards the chest, and find a few circles with those knees. Just rolling out that lower back here. Maybe try going the other direction with those circles a few times. Okay, as we bring our knees back to center, we're going to extend our left leg out in front of us. It can rest on the floor, or you can hover the heel over the floor. Let's bring hands behind the head as we interlace those fingers, lifting the head, starting to feel some engagement through that core. And we're going to bring that left elbow towards the right knee, just like a little bicycle. We're going to slowly switch those legs. Let's bring right elbow towards left knee. And slowly switching those legs. I know it's really tempting to just go fast and blow through this. It's much harder when we slow it down, but you're also just able to feel a lot more as you slow it down. Just reaching opposite elbow to opposite knee. Maybe see if we can relax the hands a little bit with the head resting there. Just allow the head to rest in the hands rather than using the hands to pull up on the head. Just 2 more times each side. I know you didn't sign up for a Pilates class here. But just engaging through that core. The last time each side, you're doing awesome. Slowing it down a tiny bit more. And then go ahead and lower the shoulders, the head, the feet, and the arms. Bringing those arms out along those sides. Maybe try turning those palms facing up. And then feel free to extend those legs out in front of you if you would like. Just finding a brief shavasana for yourself. Making any adjustments you would like. Maybe you'd like to come into a little twist as you wrap things up with your practice today, or maybe as you stay here, feel free to close your eyes. Or as always, if you'd rather keep them open, just finding a spot up on the ceiling to gently gaze at. Now, how we began class with that alternate nostril breathing. As we breathe in through the right nostril and out through the left, it engages the sympathetic or the energizing nervous system. But as we breathe in through the left nostril and out through the right, it engages the parasympathetic or the calming nervous system. So when we alternate nostril breathing like we did at the beginning, it helps to balance the two. But maybe for these last few minutes, as you are here in Shavasana, you can either physically do it with your thumb and ring finger like we started with, by closing the left nostril, closing the right nostril and breathing in through the left and out through the right. Or maybe just think about that happening. If you want to just relax those arms, so you're not actually touching, touching the nose, but just think about breathing in through the left nostril and out through the right. In through the left and out through the right. Continuing with that, or just however you feel comfortable breathing for as long as you would like here, as long as you have time for today. I'm going to go ahead and leave you here. Thank you for practicing with me. As you feel ready to slowly come out of it at your own time, maybe start by a little bit of movement through the fingers, the toes, and slowly helping yourself up. But once again, thank you for practicing with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and continue to breathe throughout. Namaste.